Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reynolds, and this is my Leadership 3300 Great Leaders presentation. I chose to do my Great Leaders presentation on Colin Powell. Colin Powell was born on April 5, 1937 in Harlem, New York. He was the son of two Jamaican immigrants. Raised during the Depression and in the South Bronx, he and his family lived in a middle-class, diverse neighborhood. He stated that there was no class distinction and that nobody's daddy made a lot more money than anybody else's daddy. If they did, they wouldn't be living there. As a child, Colin Powell attended the New York City public school systems. He graduated from Morris High School in 1954. Shortly after his graduation, he attended the City College of New York, where he graduated with a C average. During his childhood, he described himself as generally well-behaved but a directionless youngster. While having no true ambition in high school, or really in college either, he did join the ROTC program while at City College of New York. This is where he discovered that the military was his true calling. Joining the military did not prevent him from upholding his principles and values. He was raised by his parents with his older sister, Marilyn Powell, and he quoted of his parents, "Integrity, kindness, and godliness, they taught us, were right. Lying, violence, intolerance, crime, and drugs were wrong, and even worse than wrong, in my family, they were shameful." As a child, Powell did not fully understand these views, as he described himself as a young rebel. This is proven in an example where he acted out by running away from his church camp because he just craved a beer. After admitting his guilt and seeing how proud his parents were of his honesty, he stated something from that boyhood experience. The rewards of honesty hit home and stayed. This helped pave the way for his future reputation as respected, honest, and integrity. Some other personality traits of Colin Powell include his great character. This was proven through his compassion, his avoidance of self-promotion, his determination, and his effectiveness as a leader. He was also resilient. He analyzed each and every situation brought in front of him and tried to decide what the best option was. If he was mistaken in his choice and this option failed, he was not afraid to go back to the drawing board and try again. He also displayed great confidence and sureness in his leadership and in what he said and did. Powell's personality traits also helped to establish his leadership. During his time as a military leader, he was honored with many awards and respected among members of both political parties. He was even considered for several presidential stances, including vice president and president. But he did not desire this much power and wished to spend more time with his family. This also showed the American people that he was not just a military leader, but he was a family leader because of how much he cared for his family and realized how important they were. Establishing a sense of power came easily to Powell. He utilized a healthy mix of autocratic and democratic leadership. As a leader, his soldiers knew who he was and respected what he had to say. But Colin Powell also took the initiative to include others in trying to find solutions to problems. He wanted to know their input and their opinions as to what they thought the best idea was and the best way to solve the problem. Ultimately, though, everyone knew that Powell had the final say, and what he said went, no matter what. But Powell did like to take the time to analyze the opinions given to him and see if somebody else had better ideas than what he had originally come up with. To become an effective leader, there are several qualities that one must possess. Of these, Powell possesses great intelligence. This was shown through his insightfulness and his resiliency. He also possessed great self-confidence. He was determined, strong-willed, and motivated in everything that he did and everything that he knew he needed to get done. He also showed great integrity. This was shown through his great character, through his honesty, and through his humility throughout his service. These leadership qualities helped to pave the way for his successes. Many of his successes include: first, he was the first and only African American to be appointed as the Secretary of State. He was also the first African American to be appointed as Joint Chief of Staff, just before Miss Condoleezza Rice. He was also awarded 4 distinct medals for exceptional service and contributions during his tours in Vietnam, Operation Desert Storm, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. He is also a key supporter of many charities and many organizations, as well as a board member for these organizations. He has also taken the time and hardship in forming his own organization, known as the Colin Powell Center for Policy Studies at the City College of New York, where he attended school. So why is Colin Powell considered a great leader? He broke so many social barriers during his time in his society. By being an African American and being such a leader and such an upstanding citizen during his time, it was more rare. And so that helped to establish him as such a great leader by breaking the barriers and gaining these positions. He was raised with little money, no ambition, but still managed to do something with his life and to succeed. He excelled in the military, becoming General, Secretary of State, Joint Chief of Staff, and leading many tours. But he was not only a military leader, but a family leader. He cared deeply about his job and his career, but he cared just as equally about his family and what went on back at home. He was not just a successful leader, but he was also a respected leader. After he retired, he stated that he wanted to be remembered as a good soldier who served well and is well thought of by fellows. To me, this is one of the most important statements he ever made. This shows that he did not do everything that he did for the glory and for the power and for the recognition, but he did it because of his love for our country, for his people, and for his family. And that's what makes Colin Powell a great leader. Thank you.